While appreciating the participation of Professor Jain Murthy, Principal of Gokaraju Institute of Technology, I request him just to share a few words with the students here.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Pranams to past and the present gurus and the luminaries on the dais, of the dais, and dear students or dear participants and the well-wishers. Extremely happy and fortunate to be here in this noble task of creation of this Center for Innovative Knowledge in this premises. While sharing the happiness, I can see from the looks of all the young people, there must be a tapana in you, that is something burning, saying that I have to do something. You ask everybody what, he says, I'm still looking for it. You keep wondering as to, everyone says, I want to innovate. What? He says, I'm still searching for it. People say this, if you don't know where the goal is, how can the path be clear? So there's a requirement for all of us to understand all these, sort of diplomatic words which are there in this business. I thought I'll share a couple of examples in my life before I wind up my speech. In 70s, when I was about your age, I also had the feeling, and I used to always say this, I wish I was born in 1600s and 1400s, I would have had an invention and discovery to my credit. It's just sad that people have discovered, invented everything before I was born. Now there's nothing left for me. And I'm sure most of you must be saying the same. Just imagine, I said that, but now I look back and say, our generation is the most fortunate generation which has seen the tremendous changes in every aspect. I worked with log tables, I used slide rule, then I've used numerical machines, then I've used calculators, scientific calculators with memory, then came the computers, now they're becoming shrinking and they're all in my hand right now. Ours is the only generation, we walked, used the cycle, used the powered cycle, there was mopeds, motorcycles, I drove them by the way, scooters, motorcycles, cars, fast cars, every one of them happened when I am alive. If I ask you what is a slide rule, I don't think you have seen it also. I worked with a punch card, I have worked with, this key, the tables. Maybe a day will come where I just have to look at it, that information, my thoughts will go into the computer. All this has happened, even though I have said there's nothing for me to discover in 1970. And you are exactly in the same portal, same place. Don't think that, 109 elements are over, there's nothing for 110. 9 planets are already there, where is there 11th and 12th? But there are enough problems around us. Maybe you will come up with a pill which will cure every cancer that you can think of. Maybe you will come up with, a virus-free environment in the world. Variety of things. All of you must be worried about, your dress itself. Every day the fashion is changing. Every day you have to wash it, iron it, all that. Maybe there is something which never gets any of these problems. Okay, these are all, way of looking at life. Everything depends upon the way you look at things. You want to learn maths course, you go to your class and they'll tell you these are the numbers. This is called, the BODMAS is a famous one. You'll say first you do division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, and say how the numbers are manipulated. Then you'll get up and say, yes, I know maths. Now you'll ask me the same question. So tell me about invention. Which is the first step? Which is the second step? By the time you give me the problem, I'll invent. There's no syllabus like that. It's an attitude. It's a feel. It's a way you look at life. So all these examples are make you to think like that, to change your attitude, to look at life. People say the nature and the necessity is the mother of invention. So start looking around. I'll give you my own example. There will be a lot of missed opportunities. I remember in 80s, I finished my MS and I wrote a big program and I was very happy, came back to India, went back again to the same college to do my PhD. Then they said, no sir, the computer is changed, your 6,000 line program is not there. So I have to now start typing again. So I asked that lady, computer in charge, one question. Very, very innocuous question. I asked her, I got my printout of 6,000 lines. Is there a gadget? You have given me a printout, do the reverse of it, you put the thing inside, it creates the program and stores it. So a habit and change your character. So the starting point is the thought. So now you start thinking, start dreaming, saying that, yes, I will look at things in a different way. The standard questions of why, how, what, I'll replace it with why not also. Then you'll start coming up with, actions. And if you keep doing those actions, it becomes a habit. And the day it becomes a habit, you are a professional inventor. Every day you will start inventing something or the other. There's a lot of emphasis on STEM nowadays. Not nowadays, it's been there always. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Most of you have gone through it. But sometimes you may not know the difference between the science. Are you a scientist or a technologist or an engineer? Very few people will be able to answer. We give a degree called computer science and engineering. There is a word called science, there is a word called engineering. And the degree is called BTech. So that man is a scientist, engineer, and technologist. You ask him, what are you? All of you people will find it difficult to answer that question. Anyway, this is not the forum to give you all that. Some other time we will talk about that. But go back and understand this. What is science? What is technology? What is an engineer? But remember one thing. As an engineer, we have got one primary duty. I will create the society in such a way that the quality of life is worth living in it. You're all part of it. And you're all the change masters for that. And I wish that you do that. Bhagavad Gita says in 13th chapter, Amanitvam, Idam, Bhitvam, these are the qualities of a jnani. One line says, Acharyopasanam saucham sthairyam vinigraham. That sthiryam is one thing you people should have. Sthiratvam. This manasa, vacha, karmana, don't go on changing. You think something, you say something, you act something else, then you are nowhere. I wish that you concentrate, pick up whatever the ideas, look around, and this nature and the needs around you are the actual, sort of sparks in you which will make that invention ideas come out of you. I wish that you work in that manner and learn as much as possible through this noble venture called the Center for Innovative Knowledge. And I congratulate the Swamiji for having initiated this scheme. And let's hope that all of you gain from it, and at the end, this learning should help the society. God bless you. Thank you.
What exactly this innovation center is all about, what you can learn, what we have to do together, that small ideas will be presented by the brainchild of this Center of Innovative Knowledge and former director of DRDL, Professor A.K. Chakrabarti, who worked with Dr. Kalam for many years in DRDL and other fields.
Thank you, sir. Respected Swami Bodhamananji, my colleagues on the dais, dignitaries on the stage, dignitaries off the stage, my young friends, teachers, very good morning to all of you. Before I start, I just want to introduce one more guest has just come. He is Air Marshal Inamdar, sir. He was the Vice Chief of Air Staff. And he is a council member of Vivekananda International Foundation in Delhi. I wish that you can speak few words in this conference sometime. Another thing, when I come to this hall, it gives me a lot of thought that when I was in the DRDL for 4 decades, we had number of symposiums, number of seminars. We used to try our best to fill up the hall before the dignitaries come. But we never could do so. But in this hall, whenever I entered, I saw the hall is full. You see, the great energy is there. It's a fantastic thing. This is really unprecedented. I have never seen this kind of thing. Such kind of cheerful people. The third thing I tell you, today is the very important day for 2 things. Today is the National Science Day, and today is our annual budget is presented. So what is the link between these 2? Maybe at the end of my lecture, you may find some link. Now, this year, 2015, is the International Year of Light. What is there in light? We see light all around. What is the greatness of light? Just now, Swamiji said that bringing light, drive away the darkness. And in our all functions, Indian tradition, we light the lamp. So what is there in light? I'll take you back to maybe 20th century beginning or 19th century end. This, just now Mr. Murthy said that had he born in 16th century or 17th century, he could have had a lot of things to discover. But unfortunately, he was born in the 20th century, so nothing much. Similar idea had one person in 19th century. He, at the end of 19th century, about 1870s, he went to study physics in Europe. Everybody said, physics, you are mad. Physics is over. Physics is dead. Nothing is there in physics to discover. You got all sound, light, electricity, magnetism, it is over. Take up some other science. But that man didn't listen. He went for the physics. There are not many professors out there in physics, all studied. And at the stroke of the 20th century, he brought out a fantastic thing. Any of you know what was there? Whom I am talking about? He is Max Planck. He brought the quantum theory. Quantum theory of light. He said, light is not a wave, it's a quantum of energy. And following him was another great man. In 1905, he found a great theory, photoelectric theory of light. He found that when light falls on some material, electron comes out. And he said, it is a photon. Now, there is a big argument is there whether light is a wave or light is a quantum of energy, it is going on. But this quantum theory, which is brought out by Planck and Einstein, it went on and it opened up new avenues of research. And after that, you got the atomic model and everything came, then nuclear physics came, atomic physics came. Of course, the application you have seen, the World War came, America made the bomb, and so many other things. Now, our great man C.V. Raman, and I was very fortunate to walk past the lab where he used to work in Calcutta. That's, you might be knowing now, that is called Cultivation of Science in Calcutta. I was studying in Jadavpur University, the opposite gate. So, at least for 5 years, I used to walk past the institute. But I was not knowing that great man was there. Later on, I came to know that this great man was there, and 28th February 1928, he discovered the scattering of light. Actually, the idea came to him when he was traveling from abroad, why the sky is blue. And later on, he started doing the experiment, and you know that he was in Calcutta, not as a scientist. You must have seen in the film that he was the Deputy Accounts General of Calcutta. And the weekend he used to come and do the research in that institute, along with Professor K.S. Krishnan. And another gentleman was there, Suri Bhagwantam, a man from this place. He was our scientific advisor. So all of them, they discovered the 20th February, the phenomenon of scattering of light. That means the light falls on some element. Most of the return light, it is having the same frequency, but 1 in million, it will have a different frequency. This is called Raman spectroscopy. It is very widely used. This happened in 1928. There is another thing happened in 1924. Another physicist from India, when Planck and Einstein, they did the theory of light, one gentleman was in Dhaka University. You know his name? He was thinking about this kind of thing, Einstein theory. And in 1924, he came with an idea. He wrote a letter to Einstein, and the Einstein letter was addressed, "My dear Guru." He addressed in the Indian language, "My dear Guru." He used to call him Guru. And he tried to explain the Planck's theory to another statistics, that is later on called, anybody? Bose-Einstein statistics. And in his name, the particle boson is there. So Einstein appreciated so much, then something is there called Bose-Einstein condensate. The property of the matter when it comes to the very low temperature, and with that we have lasers and so many other things. Very unfortunately, Bose didn't get the Nobel Prize, but in late 1990s, 2 American scientists got the Nobel Prize, and few more are going to get Nobel Prize on boson. You know the Higgs boson. That boson is named after Bose. The particular particle, for a particular behavior, they call boson. So this is a great thing the light brought to us. Then after that, the World War came, we have a lot of development of aircraft, missiles, nuclear power, centrifuge, The engineering was progressing well. From the science, it came to the engineering because of the need of the World War II, and thereafter it opened up. Then we have the fantastic discovery of the semiconductor. People say that there are two great discoveries in the world. One is the discovery of the human being, what he has done. One is the discovery of the cultivation. Another is discovery of the semiconductor. It opened up new things. Now you know the semiconductor, computers, and so many applications, mobile, cell phone. The mobile is having the greatest technology in the world in your pocket. Even a common man is having. That has come from the semiconductor technology. So when this was happening, at the end of the 20th century, again Max Planck and Einstein came back. Again, today we are in the age of quantum physics and quantum science, quantum chemistry. You won't believe that what kind of things you are going to see. Mr. Murthy was telling that you have seen from the cycle to the supersonic aircraft. Now your generation will go to the quantum physics and quantum chemistry. What is that quantum physics and quantum chemistry? Quantum physics, you know that property of the matter at the atomic level and the subatomic level, what happens? You must have seen some kind of thing they called MEMS. MEMS, you know the nano. If you go further down, you come in the field of quantum physics and quantum chemistry. Now there are fantastic applications coming in the quantum physics and quantum chemistry. I will tell a few of the applications I will tell. This is a very difficult subject, of course. There is something called quantum interference and quantum entanglement. You see, if you make your dress, suppose I am standing here with a shirt, the shirt having a spray of the metamaterial. Metamaterial is made for the quantum chemistry. You see, if you make a material, God has made all the material structure. There are some man-made materials are also there. If you make a material with a structure where the distance between two grains of the material is less than the wavelength of the light, light behaves in a funny way. It goes around. So if I am having a shirt wearing with a metamaterial, the light is falling on me, it cannot reflect back, it will go behind and go back. So somebody standing at my back, light from here, it will come in front of you, you can see through. This is a fantastic discovery, and what immediately comes to the scientist's mind, why don't you make a submarine with metamaterial so nobody can see? Why don't you make an aircraft with a metamaterial nobody can see? So these are the things that are going to happen in another few decades. There's something called quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement means if you have two properties, two atoms, one is here, one is in the moon, if they're in the entanglement, something happens to this atom, immediately it happens to the other atom. It's a fantastic thing, communication. From here to moon, light goes at the speed of 1,80,000 miles per second. But this happens immediately. So this communication will be so fast. There's another thing is coming, that is, of course, they call it ultimate. That is, you know the equation E is equal to mc square. Okay. So mass is there, multiplied by velocity of the sound, you get the energy. So some mass can be converted into the energy. What about reverse? Mr. Murthy was telling his reverse software. What about reverse? If you can convert energy back into the mass, again you create the mass. So this is called quantum entanglement. This is happening now. People have demonstrated. Like that, you are here, you stand in front of a machine. You are converted into energy, and immediately you have to go to US. There is another machine. They convert back to you. They recreate back. So travel is so fast. This is not a fantasy. This is going to happen. People have demonstrated in the lab this quantum entanglement. So these are the few of the things in science what we are going to see. So I thought it's appropriate to tell this about in the Science Day. Now, coming back to the subject, I can take another 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Coming back to the subject, what is innovative knowledge? Innovative knowledge is the knowledge that fosters innovation and the positive mind which can take the knowledge. I'll tell you some simple thing. They say that every human being or every living being is innovative. Innovation is there with everybody. Okay. Innovation is nothing out-of-box thinking. You can innovate. There are different classes of innovation. There's a routine innovation. There is something called revolutionary innovation, something called evolutionary innovation. What is revolutionary innovation? When the semiconductor came, that is called revolutionary innovation. What is evolutionary innovation? The mobile phone. It has changed the world. But there is so many routine innovation you can do every day in any walk of life, not only in science, technology. Somebody said in the kitchen also, you are doing the innovation. I was talking to my professor of engineering mechanics after 30 years, I met him. He was writing a book. He says that his theme is that everybody is innovative. I'll give an example. You see how. without reading a science, you can be innovative. So he asked us a question. We were sitting there. I was there, some senior professors was also there. He asked three things that mankind has made three objects. And that is having great explanation of science. But without knowing science, they made it. What are the three? He told us. One is a drinking glass, You take a glass of water. You have seen the earlier days, the glass used to taper up. Oh, no. Secondly, you take a teacup. Teacup also is tapering up, but with a handle. And the third is the fire brigade, that water bucket you have seen, is also tapering up. So, why the three vessels are tapering up and three vessels are having different explanation? If you can find out thing, you can find out, you tell me. But this was done by the people who never knew science. So, innovation is there with everybody. Now, there is another gentleman that we all know him, that people say, when the science and technology started in India, what is the day? Can you say science and technology, when it started? We cannot say anything specific. But what they say that in 1993, two great people were going in a voyage in a ship called Empress from Japan to Canada, Vancouver. They met on the board. Who are these two people? Anybody? Right, sir. Right. You see, they had a chance meeting. Swami Vivekananda was going to Chicago for the World Parliament of Religion. No? And Jamsetji Tata was also going. They met on the board of the ship. The Jamsetji Tata asked him, Swamiji, where are you going? He says, I am going to deliver a talk in the World Parliament of Religion. Then Swamiji asked him, sir, where are you going? He said, I am going to USA and UK to get the technology of steel. I have to set up a steel plant. That is at Jamshedpur, where it came. Swamiji said, sir, very fine, you are going to do that, but we need to do something in the country. Start something. That so that we can also do. Then, of course, they went, and later on when Jamsetji Tata came back, he thought about the Swamiji, why not doing something? He wrote to Swamiji, Swamiji, what I can do? Swamiji says, start one institute. You know what is the institute? The ISC. ISC Bangalore was started in 1905 with the suggestion of Swami Vivekananda. And if you go to the ISC director's room, two big paintings are there, Swami Vivekananda and the Jamsetji Tata. You see, they say this is the voyage that Indian science started. And later on, Swamiji, when he was in US, he has met all the great engineers in those days. He met Tesla, the electrical engineering people. Actually, Swamiji wanted to make his brother an electrical engineer. So he knew so much of science. Now, there is another thing happened, of course, a different story. In 2013, exactly 2012 December, we are trying to have a conference on innovation, international conference on innovation in RCI, DRDL RCI. And a lot of people from abroad came. The Boeing design chief came from here, Tata Muthuraman came, Tata boss came, and many people came. It was a good conference. I was the organizing person of the conference. I had a big problem because in December you don't get people to chair the conference. People are busy in December. I was a little late. I started contacting our Ratan Tata, everybody, ultimately our friend, philosopher and guide, Dr. Kalam and all, but time was not available. So I spoke to the university, Vivekananda University in Calcutta, Swamiji. I said, can you please come? He said, I am also busy in a conference. Why don't you go to Ramakrishna Mission? The Swamiji is there, Swami Bodhavananda. Why don't you go, and he is the best man, he can. So I was not knowing him. So I came here. I was asking, where is the Swamiji? He said, this is me. I couldn't believe such a young person. And he came and he presided over the function and he gave a nice talk, 1 hour talk on the mind and the science. And at the interval, that Boeing chief, he told me that I have attended so many conferences all over the world, but I have never seen this kind of lecture. So powerful lecture he delivered on mind and innovation. Actually, that triggered me that we have been doing the science right from the day I came here. When he came here, we had a military boss. He was Air Commander Narayanan, a very tough man. And he said, you are the engineers. I didn't have a chair and table for 2 years. He's an engineer all the time on the field. You go be there and make something and show me. So we are running around, and we made a missile that time, very efficient missile we made. And later on, when Dr. Kalam came, he said, what you have done? You have done one project. You should do 5 projects over one time. Nobody could believe that we ourselves were capable of doing the 5 projects. He forced us, no, you're capable. You take 5 projects. So he forced us to take the 5 projects. There's some telling that innovation is there in everybody's mind, how to take out the innovation. Now the thing is, if you see the country now, another 5 minutes I'll take. If you see the country now, we are in a fantastic position. Today the budget is being pressed. The budget, what they say, the main mantra of the budget is Make in India. So how do Make in India? You know, everybody is worried, our Prime Minister is worried, Make in India. So you have to make in India. But you see the little bit of the economic scenario, what's happening in India. So India is going to be a very rich country, you know. India is going to be the third richest country in the world after US and China. India's, there is something called purchase power parity, PPP. In PPP, India is 4th now. Indian economy is touching 3 trillion. US is 13 trillion, China is 8 trillion, and India is $3 trillion. So India's GDP, India is 12. So India is such a powerful country. But we have another distinction with us. In per capita income, we are 176th country in the world. Can you see the difference? Now, India is having more poor people in 6 states in Eastern region than in Africa. Can you believe this? So we are going to the very rich country, and we are such a poor country. Why? Then this is linked to the Make in India. What to make in India? You see, Indian manufacturing sector contribution in the GDP is only 15%. That is stagnated last so many years. And out of this 15%, 60% comes from the SMEs and small industries. So our major Tata, Birlas and all the powerhouses, they produce this 40% of 15%, that is only 6%. So that is the status. So how do you make in India? Unless you design in India. First of all, you have to design in India, then you have to make in India. Out of, say, more than 150 automobiles model in the road, hardly 2 or 3 is made in India. We get the design from outside. So that is the purpose we are going to start this kind of center. Our idea is that we pick up the boys or girls from the very early age, from the class 9, and take them along with the MSc and up to the BTech level. Here we will have the regular lecture. Along with what they study in the classes, we are going to have the lectures by the eminent people. You have heard last month, I think, or 2 months back, Dr. Adimurthy came and gave a lecture. He was a designer of the Mars mission. So you can hear from the people who has done it. So this kind of lectures we can organize. And after that, what Swamiji said, you can take small study projects. You do some study projects. You can do your own publication. You can write books. So many things you can do. And ultimately, when you go to the colleges, the college faculty will also join us. In every colleges, we are going to have a cell of our center. They'll all join us. You carry a project of your interest. There are so many things can be done. There is energy is there, medical science is there, so many things for the societal mission. Even the clean water. So many things can be done. I was talking about the quantum physics and quantum chemistry. Somebody in Madras IIT and ISC Bangalore, he has used the quantum chemistry to make a water filter that cost only 100 rupees. 100 rupees, and it will last for 1 year. You see, amount of money you are spending with all these multinational companies, 100 rupees water filter made of this in quantum chemistry, that kind of knowledge. So you can take the thing forward, you can go to your engineering colleges, take a project, and ultimately when you have to do a project in the 3rd year or 4th year, you can do something useful, which is useful for the society. Everywhere in the world, they say that universities are the heart of the national's economy. So you are the people who will come up and make something useful, which is required by the industry and the society. I am very thankful to be present here and to interact with you. I am very thankful to him also. He has given a lot of encouragement for this center to be reality. And this is a great day. This is Science Day, and every year we will celebrate this day also as a Unagasan Day. And I am sure that when you come in the next year, when you celebrate, and we will be having a number of projects with us, and we can, in a full day, we can have the science celebration. So all the best, and thank you again.